Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Mona's Takes. I am Mona Rose. We are going to go over Big Brother's episode last night and the castmates now that we got to see them a little bit. But before we get into that, if you would, please like and subscribe. It helps my channel grow. Give me some feedback in the comments. Let me know what you would like to see differently, done differently. What you agree with, what you disagree with. And we'll go from there. Alright, first I'm going to go on a rant. Paramount, CBS Big Brother, whoever, did not give us the live feeds last night. I have been looking forward to this for weeks. Everything's set up. Timer's going down. Timer expires, no live feeds. And that song that they've got is horrible. Because I had to listen to that over and over and over and over until I figured it out. Something's amiss. So I got on Twitter. And of course, saw the announcement that we won't get the live feeds until Friday. There's a lot of conspiracy theories going on out there about why we don't have the live feeds. Maybe somebody quit. Maybe something happened. I think the reason we don't have the live feeds, they never intended us to have the live feeds until Friday. I think it's all hype. Because they've already been in the house a week. So they have already played HOH. They've already played Power or Veto. They've already had nominations. And they don't want us to see all of that before Friday. So, I'm hoping Friday night we do get the live feeds. I mean, this is day 8 for them in the house. And we have an hour of content from last night. And 30 minutes of that was the competition. So, we don't have a lot to go on still. It was very interesting to see how it played out and them coming in the house one at a time. The fact that most of them knew each other. But I guess if you're in the celebrity world, you kind of know the other celebrities. So Carson was the first one to come in, and I knew he'd be a big personality. He's going to be a big personality. I just hope that he's not too big of a personality. To where he starts getting on people's nerves and all of that. He's funny. I didn't know a whole lot about him until last night. And I liked what I saw. Like I said, he's going to be a huge personality. He's hilarious, but he's narrating the whole season already. He's like, the whole thing, it's Carson's show. He's the narrator, he's telling everybody where to go, what to do. And he knows every single person in the house, except for the last 2 that came in, Misha and Maya. Everybody else in the house he knows or has worked with. As he put it, he called himself a showbiz hoe, which I thought was hilarious. I think if he can tone it down just a little bit and not get on people's nerves, I think he can go far. My girl Cynthia Bailey, very elegant. I think that she's going to play the game. I was kind of surprised. Cynthia, if you've watched Real Housewives of Atlanta, she's always been the one in the background. She doesn't really get into the drama. She doesn't get into the gossiping. She doesn't get into all of that. So I was kind of concerned that she was going to come in the house and not be able to play the game. But I think she's going to do well. Right off the bat, after everybody got in the house, Carson started an alliance with Shayna, Todrick, and Cynthia and himself. I believe he called it the girls and the gays. But I'm sure they're going to come up with a different name for that if they continue on together. But I think that's a good group. That's 4 out of 11 people. So, and they're all likable. I think Shayna would have been kind of like a fish out of water if it hadn't been for joining that group. But we'll see. There's going to be 2 evictions a week, which means they're probably going to be busy every day. They're not going to have a lot of downtime like most Big Brother players do. They started out last night with the HOH competition, and it was the one where they have the stirrups, the 2 stirrups for your feet, and then you have the 2, whatever, last night it was champagne bottles that they were to hold on to, and they lift them up in the air. And the swings have a mind of their own, so they'll go out, and they'll go backwards, and they'll go forwards, and they'll turn, and all of that. So it's kind of hard to keep your balance. And then they started throwing stuff at them. But before they got started, Julie announced that she needed a master of ceremonies. So she needed somebody to volunteer not to compete. And that person that volunteered not to compete would not be eligible for safety that week. They would not be eligible for a head of household. I would have thought they would at least said, if you volunteer for this and you can't compete in the HOH, at least you'll be safe for the week. But they didn't do that. And she kept asking, and everybody was like, oh, no, not me, I want to compete. Oh, no, not me, I want to compete. Well, Todd looked at the thing and was like, there is no way that I'm going to be able to win this. So, hey, I'll volunteer. The costumes that they had were outrageous. I don't know who designed those costumes for them last night, but they were funny. All of them were funny. Todd was a fox, I believe. Carson was a unicorn. Todrick, the outfit that they had him in, it was awesome. You have to see it. So anyway, they start the competition after Todd volunteered. Anyway, they started the competition after Todd volunteered to be the master of ceremony. And they were all like, what in the world have we got ourselves into? Chris Kattan is the first one that fell. Like, within a minute, I think, of the competition. And then Cynthia, and then Shayna. Then Lamar, then Chris Kirkpatrick, Carson. I think Carson threw it. I really think Carson threw it. I think he wanted to be somewhere in the middle, but he didn't want to be seen as a comp threat. So I really think he threw it. But we'll see. And then Mariah, she looked really strong, and she looked like she was going to be there for the entirety. And then all of a sudden she fell, which was surprising because she really looked like she was in her zone, but she lost one of her stirrups. So once she was only in one stirrup and had one bottle to hold on to, it was kind of hard to keep your feet in it because like the tip of your toe is the only thing that goes into that stirrup. So that left Todrick, Misha, and Teddy were the last 3 that were fighting it out. And Todrick looks over at Misha, and she just looks solid. She looks like she's not going anywhere. And her being an MMA fighter, she's got some muscle, so I think she could have even lasted longer than what she did. So Todrick looks over at Misha, and he's like, how are you feeling? She's like, oh, I'm feeling good. I can be here forever. And he's like, if I drop, am I safe? She's like, oh, yeah. I'm not targeting you. You're safe. Go ahead. So he drops. Well, then Teddy looks over at Misha and says, if I drop, will you keep me safe? And Misha says, well, it's really too early to start promising people stuff. 5 seconds ago, it wasn't too early because she promised Todrick safety. But then she's like, oh no, it's too early to start making deals like that. We don't know what the week is going to give us. Da da da. So I was like, oh, that hurt. So when Teddy in her confessional, she's like, well, I've got to be going up. She made a deal with him and wouldn't make a deal with me, so she must be going to target me. I'm going up on the block. So Teddy had it in her head that she was going up on the block. Whether she does or not, I don't know. That's the thing about Misha and Maya. They don't have any connections in that house. They don't know the other people. They know of them, but they don't know them. So I don't know I have no clue who she would target. And it'll be interesting tonight to see who's nominated. So that was basically the competition. I think that, well, let's say this. There were some people that I didn't really know. I knew of them. But last night kind of changed my opinion. Lamar Odom was one. Number one, I didn't know that he had lost a child. That's a club none of us want to be in. I am unfortunately in that club, and it's hard. He turned to drugs, and from the sounds of it, almost died. He OD'd before he decided that he was going to get his life together, get off of the drugs, which I'm glad he did. But he really surprised me. He was a lot more laid back than I would have thought he would have been. I think he'll be a good social player. I don't know that he'll be as good in the comps because of his height and his size, but we'll see. So he really surprised me. Cynthia surprised me. I knew, I watched her, so I knew a lot about Cynthia. So I saw a different side of her last night. We'll see how that plays out in the future for her. Chris Catron, I just don't. I know he tries to be funny, but I don't find him funny. Some of the house guests may, but I could see him being one of the first ones to go. Misha and Maya, like I said, they don't have other connections in there. I think that Misha may target Maya because she considers her a threat or a competition. But if she does that, I think she is hurting her own game because I don't think she's going to have a big alliance. Like I said, she doesn't know anybody in the house, and neither does Maya. So if they stick together, I think that they would be a strong team, but we'll see how that plays out. Trying to think of anybody else that really stood out. Todrick. Heard a lot of hype about Todrick, and I knew that some of the cast from Big Brother 23 spent some time with him after they got out of the house last summer. So I've seen bits and pieces of him. He was a lot calmer than what I thought he would have been. Not really over the top. We shall see if that changes. Like I said, that was the night 1 that we're getting last night, even though it was night 8 for them. So we'll see how everything plays out, and once the live feeds start, I'm going to be on them. So I'll be staying up at night and watching them and doing the recaps in the morning. So I guess tonight we're going to see who was nominated, and I don't know that we'll get the power of veto tonight. We may. It's only an hour, so depends on how they edit it, and we may get that tonight as well too. So I will see you guys later on. Remember, like and subscribe for me. Help my channel grow. I appreciate all your support. Have a great day. Mwah.